I wrote a fan fiction, which is my.
If you're familiar with The Beach,
it's my forte. I just realized I'm not sitting in this chair right now. I'm kind of half kneeling in it.
get in the chair.
Couldn't tell you why. And we decided to. This is actually Leighton's idea. We decided to Mad Lib it a little bit. So did anyone do the Mad Libs thing that was on the screen?
Thank you.
So while you guys were sitting down, Vernon compiled the best answers.
And while we were
put
giving
them
him
to
shit
the
about
thing.
answering emails, and I literally forgot that we had told him to do this as part of his job.
He
I
loved
was
it.
actually just being a good friend.
You still have mayo on your face.
I still have mail on
So
my
much
face.
mail.
So anyway, you guys helped write this fan fiction, and Jack has not read this at all.
This
so
is brand new.
I'm gonna hand him my
Written
phone,
by
and he's
me.
gonna do a blind dramatic read of this fan fiction that you helped write.
Can we have a round of applause for this fan fiction
If-
by me?
Just keep your hand on it.
Yeah, there we go.
YITY. Or, yesterday I touched you. A fan fiction experience by Brian, PhD. Well, that's a wrap on the latest YI, said Jack, walking into his living room. Those answers sure were doozies this time. I do not talk like that. Jack walked over to his vodka keg, poured himself a frosty pint, and flopped down on his leather couch. Jack kicked off his... Oh, I messed it up already.
No, you're good. You just keep going.
Jack kicked off his crying with laughter emoji slippers. As always, worn without socks. And put his size 13 feet, gross, up on his custom-made rhinestone footstool. Finally, able to relax, Jack decided to indulge in his favorite activity, jacking it with your best bro.
But those are the Mad Libs, in case you can't tell. The highlighted
Yeah, the
stuff is
highlighted bits of the Mad Libs. That's not what he actually likes to do.
Well,
Question mark.
Well,
1 minute later, halfway through his pint of vodka, the doorbell rang. I wonder who that could be, thought Jack to himself, idly scratching his feet. I'm not expecting any more light switch deliveries today. Maybe it's that Guy Fieri cardboard standees I ordered. He got off the couch, took the middle elevator to the sub-basement, and opened the door. Standing in front of him was none other than Sonic the Hedgehog. What a nice surprise. It was indeed Sonic the Hedgehog, leaning against the doorway, staring at Jack intensely. They embraced, and Jack lingered in the hug a little too long. Sonic the Hedgehog smelled like Vernon after camping in Portland for 4 days.
wow.
Jack, I have something really important I need to tell you, said Sonic the Hedgehog. He was clearly flustered. Whatever it was must have really been bothering him. What is it? Jack said. Sonic the Hedgehog took a deep breath and looked into his eyes passionately. Well, I just can't hold it in any longer. Jack, you're a great friend, but have you ever wanted to be something more? A strong and confident voice boomed over whatever dumb thing Sonic the Hedgehog was saying. Hey guys, what's up? Who else could it be but YouTube star Brian Weck looking fit?
No, please, please.
Sorry if I'm interrupting. I was just passing through your neighborhood on the way to quitting a highly regarded research position to live in poverty as a keyboardist
Go fuck yourself,
in
whoever
a
put
ninja
that in.
suit.
Go fuck yourself.
Owned.
I'm canceling this bit.
And thought I'd say hi. Come on in, my dude, said Jack, warmly greeting his best friend with a handshake/hug, grasping Brian's hand with the hand that had so recently touched his own foot earlier in the story when Jack was scratching his feet. By the way, have you met Sonic the Hedgehog? Oh, we've met, said Brian coldly. Sonic the Hedgehog shrank beneath his piercing baby blue gaze. There was nothing left to say to him. Not since that fateful double cross in Cairo. Jack sensed the tension in the room. He touched Sonic the Hedgehog on the arm and murmured, I appreciate you dropping by, but I think you should leave now. You're making Brian, my best friend and also the most handsome man in the entire world, who also has a PhD, uncomfortable. Sonic the Hedgehog apologized and hastily excused themselves like the coward they are. With the unwelcome intruder gone, Brian and Jack were finally alone. Buddy, am I glad to see you, enthused Jack. Although the two men had only worked together a handful of times, notably on Ninja Sex Party's music video for Cookies, which as of August 2019 has over 2.89 million views.
No, please, no.
Jack considered Brian to be in the inner circle of his friends. They hadn't grown up together in Delaware or whatever. It's Maryland. But to Jack,
Whatever.
it sure felt like they did. The two best friends went back upstairs to Jack's living room, which Jack kept at a frigid 64 degrees Fahrenheit.
Much like the Dynasty typewriter.
Yeah, right. Want a pint of vodka, bro? Asked Jack. I could use a top up myself. That Sonic the Hedgehog really loves to run their mouth. No thanks, said Brian graciously. I wouldn't want to trouble you. That was Brian, always thinking of others.
What can I say? Yeah, oh, that's right.
Well, what should we do? Asked Jack. We could watch Daredevil, but the early 2000s one again. Just like old times. Amazing choice, whoever wrote that. Genius. Brian chuckled to himself. There was Jack's film degree, kicking in his hallway. Actually, do you mind if we mix it up a bit? Said Brian as he leaned in closer. I just came back from summering in the Yucatan. In the Yucatan. Yucatan. And I learned a technique there from the locals that I've been itching to try out on someone. Sure thing, man, said Jack. Great, said Brian, licking something. His eyes darting downward. I see you're already barefoot. So get those bad boys up here. Without hesitation, Jack swung his size 13s onto Brian's lap. Brian took out his trusty, substantial amounts of warmer than usual margarine and squirted exactly 3 cubic millimeters of oil into his right palm, being careful to avoid his Super Bowl ring. With the practiced manner of a surgeon, he rubbed his hands together to achieve an even coating of oil and then placed his newly warmed hands on Jack's right foot. He began caressing it gently. This is so fucking wrong. Is this okay? Asked Brian. I'd hate for this to not be okay. Great writing, dude. Great dialogue.
That's
Thank
some
you.
consent, baby.
That's exactly right.
Damn right.
Round of applause for consent.
And back to the foot porn. My guy, this is
Not
the
porn.
life, said Jack. And I think that vodka's finally starting to kick in. Brian's right thumb smoothed the flesh around the flexor hallucis brevis muscle, 1 inch below Jack's big toe.
Wow, whoever wrote this really knows their way around feet.
Right?
It's just basic foot anatomy. What's up?
Working the tissue with an even pressure while his left hand stabilized the flexor digiti minimi brevis muscle. Fuck you, dude. Just below the smallest of Jack's bottom phalanges. I don't know. Moving both phalanges, damn it. Moving both his thumbs in circles exactly 1 inch in diameter, Brian dug in harder, causing Jack to emit a soft grunt of relief. He could tell that Jack had spent a lot of time on his feet recently. Given the pliancy with which Jack's midfoot lumbrical muscles responded to Brian's dexterous manual interrogation. One endless hour of podiatric pleasure later, Brian switched feet, and the process began anew. Is this doing anything for you? After another hour had passed, my God, Brian stood up, wiping a combination of sweat and foot oil from his brow. Wow, said Brian. You definitely needed that. I haven't felt feet that tight since I was undercover with the Taliban back in '02. Jack stood up and did a little jig. It's like I'm walking on pillows. Why, my feet feel like children's feet again. It just locked. Can you...
It's also back
That's
up there.
probably
You can
for
look
the
at
best.
Oh, there it is. Why, I feel like children's feet. My dude, you're a foot genius. Please, said Brian, looking at Jack through his Ray-Bans. I'm just doing what comes naturally when a couple of dudes hang out together. Am I right? Jack looked at Brian. You know, I thought I knew how to fix things. Flags, Twitter bios, songs, and more. But I guess that the thing that needed fixing more than anything else was myself. Happy to help, said Brian, bringing Jack into his warm, well-muscled embrace. After all, what are best friends for? The end.
Touch his feet.